Welcome to another episode of Live with RxMuscle's March to the Olympia 2015, sponsored by Results Nutrition. I'm your host, Dave Palumbo, and we're here with our guest of the night, men's physique pro superstar, Jason Poston. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for having me. It's always great to be on.
Well, it's always great to have you, Jason. You're one of our favorite guests, and you always give us something interesting to think about, to talk about. This was a quiet year for you. You competed at the Arnold. You placed second to Siddiq. Obviously, I know it was a little bit of a burn in your butt, so to speak, but you didn't do any other shows. 2014, you ran the gamut of every show. You won every Europa show out there. You won the New York Pro. I mean, you were probably the most productive men's physique guy on the circuit. And this year, we didn't see much of Jason Poston. What's been going on with your life?
Well, after Olympia, I did do a show, which if you look at the calendar year, I did that Europa in Phoenix, and I was able to win that show. And then I had a goal to rest. At that point in the IFBB, and I recommend this to all the new people coming up, as you guys know, Dave, you need to get your face out there. You need to pay your dues, is what they say. And I wanted to get my body, my face, my name noticed. You know, if I was going to do it, I wanted to have more of the Iron Man, like Cal Ripken mentality. I want to do every show. But then that's something you learn along the way, is that there might be some people that can do that, and my hat's off to them. But, you know, I learned that it wore me out, and I wasn't able to gain size as much. I would gain maybe a few pounds, I mean, very little. But resting after the Olympia goal, then they threw the Arnold at us. A lot of people don't understand that we didn't plan on the Arnold Classic. We didn't know if we were competing or not until about 11 weeks is when we got our invitations. So 11 weeks out, you're celebrating Christmas with a family, and then you start off 2015 dieting right there at Christmas, and you got to get everything in gear. So that was an adjustment, because for the first time mentally, I wasn't prepared. Usually I plan things out a year in advance. I've already got next year planned out. And so I didn't have the Arnold planned. And, you know, for the Arnold, I was a little disappointed, like you said. But I knew exactly what I did wrong. It was just as simple as not doing as much cardio. You know, if you do a lot of different things wrong, sometimes you don't know how to fix it. But with the Arnold, it was simple: rest more, do less cardio, intake more food, intake, you know, more calories. And that's kind of, you know, that's something that you actually want to know and benefit from, is that you can eat more and do less. So for this Olympia prep, that's what it's been all about, just relying more on my genetics and metabolism, and eating more, doing less cardio, and resting more. And so I put on a lot more size because of that.
Well, I mean, 2014 was tremendous for you. You basically won every single show you did. I mean, you came in second at Pittsburgh, but you really didn't. You really won that show. Mark Anthony kind of got a gift at that show. You went into the Olympia. You placed third there. I thought it was a good look for you. Not your best, but, you know, I thought the Arnold look this year, 2015, was a really good look for you. And I thought personally that it was very close between you and Siddiq, maybe closer than the judges' scorecards indicated. Do you think going into this year's Olympia now, with the added rest that you took, that you will be better than you were last year?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I can guarantee it. And we post pictures out there. We put our selfies out there. That's 2015 IFBB for you. And I think it's great for the sport. But most people have noticed that I'm definitely fuller. My shoulder structure down to my waist structure is smaller. I eliminated some things out of my diet that were kind of bloating me up a little bit. And so my waistline is a lot smaller, and I will absolutely be better. And I'm just excited to get there. I've been ready. I was 6 weeks out. I was ready. I didn't know what to do. And I run into this problem a lot. I don't know what to do with myself, because usually you kind of get in this mode where you're like, okay, I'm things, but I got in a mode where I was adding more things, adding burgers and, you know, even fries and, you know, healthy ice cream and stuff like that. So it was just unique to me. It's made this prep so much more enjoyable, because I honestly can't say that it's been strenuous. Now, these last, 19 days, 20 days, it's definitely going to be strenuous because, this is when you've got to get from 4.2% body fat, and I hope to get down to even 3.5. I don't know how lean I can get, but I've been taking every wellness step that I can and getting, I've seen multiple different doctors to have accurate BMR tests, accurate body fat scans, and 2 or 3 different accurate tests. And so I've been doing this every week, and they've been monitoring, make sure I don't lose a pound of muscle, and that I actually am only losing fat. And so it's been great so far.
Is it more difficult when you start adding more food in, being a type 1 diabetic and having to adjust your insulin requirements? Obviously, the less food you eat, the less insulin you have to take, pretty much. When you start adding more and more foods in, I think the equation becomes a little more complicated, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like way off pattern compared to the average bodybuilder. I think, Dave, you might have even dieted a lot like me, though, but you would probably say you're way off pattern as well. So my goal is to be insulin sensitive. And so when I say more food, I don't mean more carbs. I'm eating a lot more fats. So normally what I would have a tablespoon of coconut oil, or I'd have half of an avocado. I'm doing a whole avocado, and I'm doing 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. And then actually, I've taken out almonds before. I didn't like almonds. I put almonds back in my prep, and I've been digesting them really, really nice. Make sure that they're ground up. I like the almond butter. So really, I'm looking at like 30 to 40 grams of fat for 3 or 4 meals. And my carbs, it's come down to science to me. A highly digestible carb, such as a red potato that has a digestible starch in it. It helps promote digestion. I really like red potatoes lately.
Well, it sounds like you got the game plan down pat. What do you think you'll be weighing on stage this year, and what was your weight last year?
Last year I was, I don't weigh myself the day of the show. A lot of people ask me that, and I think you're talking about the show. I don't know who can find a scale or who brings one to the hotel room, but I was 196 when I flew in to Vegas last year. So right now I was 205 this week. And so, I think I tend to, looking at 199, maybe 200. So it's funny because a lot of people are like, oh, everyone's so much bigger. You see all the comments and all the feeds, and I don't think that we're really that much bigger. I just think that, we're really lifting and training ourselves like physique athletes. And so you're starting to see true physiques develop years when we strictly focus on building what they want, which is, the action cartoon figure with a small waist. People got better at all the alternative sports and skateboarding and motocross. And so you're just seeing guys get better. I don't think that we're really that much bigger. It just almost appears like it. That's what bodybuilding is all about, is, bringing an appearance.
I mean, you and Siddiq falls into the same category. I know you guys both train your legs real hard, like a bodybuilder almost, even though you don't see them on stage. And I think legs hold a lot of mass too, so you probably have added some size both to your upper and lower body, which obviously makes it easier to grow when you're doing both, keeping it even, so to speak. Now, I talked to Jeremy Buendia. We're going to have an interview with him air a little later in the week. And he said that, he's in the 170 range. He might even be about 180 this year. How do you think, this guy stacks up next to you now that you and Siddiq have gained so much more size than he has?
When you think of myself to the top contenders, I do think about what do I need to do to stack up to Jeremy? What do I need to do to stack up to Siddiq? With Jeremy, to me, it is a size game, and it is a conditioning game as well. Jeremy's a friend of mine, and I know that he has his benefits. I think he's definitely genetically blessed to put on muscle. He has more fullness. The guy was a bodybuilder, so his posing is really precise, and it fits his style. What he does on stage. But when it comes down to Jeremy, I hope that just my V-taper, my width, when we're standing straight on, will really show. And I'm not doing a lot of this side posing stuff anymore. I don't think that, they've recommended that we not do that. So, Jeremy can really rock his side pose, and when he's straight on, he can look good. But from what I've built, I feel like straight on, I want to be able to just show an extreme V taper that no one's seen before, and that's what I've done. My goal was I want you to be able to see my lats from the front, okay? Just like a front relaxed bodybuilder pose. I want my serratus and my lats just to pop out, almost as if I'm doing a back relaxed pose. And I think, of course, and you've got to have the small waist and the etched abs. And I think that's how I can stack up against Jeremy and beat him. And then from the back, this is all me just talking. Of course, I'm biased, but I think I can really take Siddiq or Jeremy from the back. I've done a lot of back work twice a week and try to just really bring out my lats, and including a lot of deep tissue massage therapy. So, and then it comes down to Siddiq. It's just he nails his conditioning and his fullness. But I think we saw his best at Olympia. It'll be interesting to see if he can bring his best at Olympia this year, because I think he was absolute best he's ever been last year, and he wasn't able to walk away with the win. So, I'm actually still waiting to be my best on stage. I don't think I've gotten there yet.
Now, Siddiq told us point blank, I'm winning the show. There is no one I have to worry about. Tell us why you will beat Siddiq. Why will Jason Poston's physique be able to beat Siddiq's physique?
I'm kind of a superstition, so we can do two different parts here. He said that exact same thing to me in New York before I beat him in his hometown. He said, I'm sorry that you had the health issues this morning, but, this is my show, and, I'm happy for you that you did 4 shows in 6 weeks and that you did 3 shows in a row and you came up to New York, but, I'm going to take this final. And I was like, I can't believe you said that. Well, so then I went and I won. And so I think, some people, they get a little ahead of themselves, and they don't, when they start calling out things, they forget that there's a lot of different variables going on, and that just because you have a few covers of a magazine and your supplement company's been blowing you up everywhere, that doesn't play anything about what goes on stage, So I just, personally, I've been looking at a lot of Jeremy, but me and Jeremy talk, and we kind of talk trash, and I tell him to go eat donuts, I tell him to go eat fried chicken, and when I got to train with these guys for a week in the desert, I got to see their training styles, and I admire Jeremy's physique a lot, and his work ethic and his knowledge. But when it came down to Siddiq, I think he's got a great physique. He's a poster child, but when it comes down to a body that I think is a beat, I'm just like, Jeremy, I think, has that almost like Phil Heath type aura where he looks good when he's not conditioned. So, I think that's the toughest guy to beat.
Obviously, you would like to win the Olympia. Why is your physique, and I have a personal issue with having to figure out whose physique I like better, because I'm kind of like torn between you and Siddiq, and I tend to think of your physique more as a men's physique, physique, and Siddiq looks more like a bodybuilder to me, which is fine if that's the look they're going for. What do you think the physique division should be defined as? Is Siddiq too big, maybe, or is there no such thing as too big as long as your proportion is good?
I would love to do other comparisons, because actually way more than Siddiq. So he's not, he's gotten bigger because, he didn't take care of it in the offseason. He bulked up to like 240, 250 pounds, and I'm not being critical. That's the truth. But, I've stayed lean. I've stayed within 4 weeks out my whole IFBB career, and I think that's the healthy route. You see a lot of the super heavyweights. You see a lot of bodybuilders doing the same thing now. Not 4 weeks, but they're staying closer to show. And so, there's something to say about being able to control, your food intake and your alcohol intake, and just keep, a nice organic body year round, so that you can thrive and also be, a good advocate for your endorsements as well. I mean, you've got to live it. So, I guess when it comes down to it, what they want what I think and what they want for physique is, number one, you need to have a stellar chest. You need to have a chest. Your chest shouldn't cave in anywhere. You shouldn't have like, I don't care how good of abs you have and how good shoulders you have. If you have ripped obliques, that's nice. But you got to have a chest. I mean, if you don't have a full chest that all the way around, to me, then that is not an Olympia winning physique, and then you start adding from there. We all know lifting weights, Dave, how hard it is to build a chest. I mean, that takes a lot longer. You could build shoulders in 3 or 4 years, if you do it right. There might be some people that are less gifted, but you can build some really nice delts on top of, a frame. And your back needs to be wide. That's probably second to the chest, is you need to have a very wide back, because that's going to accentuate your waist. All right. And, it comes down to the waist is purely genetic as well. Like some guys just have wide hips. And so, you've got to keep your waist small, and, it's very debatable, but I believe the belt, keeping a tight belt during your heavy deadlifts and squats, which are essential, all your compound movements, you got to keep your waist tight. And that's one thing I've done, is just really kept a tight belt over this whole off season. So,
I'll ask you this question. I understand you have 2 new inhabitants or roommates over there at your house. We can hear them rattling around a little in the back there. Tell us a little bit about the new additions.
Well, it goes with this lifestyle. You've got to, do some stuff that makes you happy. I love dogs. I've always been a fan of muscular dogs. And so now that I'm traveling a little less, and I've got better connections with a really good kennel here. So when I do travel, I picked up some American bullies, went to Phoenix, did the whole Periscope. We did live on social media. It actually was the biggest Periscope I've had by far. I think it beat every other Periscope altogether. So people love puppies. And so, yeah, I got a brother and a sister, Oak and Ivy, and we have some big plans for them. So they're really bringing a lot of love to the house. It's nice.
Pull the boy out. I want to see the boy. The people are gonna love it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take the headphones off.
All right.
Come here, Oak.
You got to see this. These dogs look like little bodybuilders. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. They're only like 10 or 11 weeks old, and they got muscles, and they're pretty jacked already. And so I think you guys are gonna love this. I love animals. It's the wild kingdom.
All right. So this is Oak. He's an American Bully Kennel Club registered American Bully. So not to be confused with like a pit bull or an American bulldog.
What do they breed to get
those? His dad, just Google Magoo. Magoo is his dad. Magoo's forearm is as big as Flex Lewis's. I mean, it's incredible. So this guy, if he turns out like his dad, he could be a specimen. They're just extremely much dogs. They're lower to the ground, real short legs. Overall, their temperament, they're really chill,
He looks like Jose Raymond a little bit, actually, the dog.
Yeah, he does. That's nice right here.
Do you put your dog on the treadmill like Mike O'Hearn does?
Nah, I ain't doing. My dog's not doing cardio.
No cardio. You just want him to bulk up.
Yeah, he's gonna pull sleds. We've got some doggy training equipment coming, and then I've got my own training equipment I want to develop. He actually loves looking at himself. That's
He's great.
Funny.
He's a cutie. He's falling asleep in your arms there. All right, hey, before we let you go, give me a double bicep pose.
Man, Dave, I got to pass this time.
Come on, I always make you do we got to do the trademark.
I just got out of the hospital, man.
What were you in the hospital for?
Yeah, I figured. I thought you guys were gonna pop that question. I just had some extreme electrolyte loss. I lost a lot of water. I overtrained a little 3 times in a day, and I had the water intake up, but just part of some of this diabetic problems that I have, when the water's too low, you know, blood sugar can spike, and it caused me to hold on a second, guys. Sorry, got puppy distractions here.
Regulate your blood sugar when you're dehydrated, right?
No, I can't. And so, you know, you know, after in the middle of the night, I just experienced like some extreme cramping, and then I couldn't get my blood sugar to go down. This is the first time it's ever happened, really. So I kept having to urinate and kept peeing out more water, and the blood sugar just wasn't coming down. And so, you know, what happened was I had an extreme loss of salt, actually, too, because I wanted to do a little salt depletion you know, before Olympia, because sometimes when I drop salt, I get flat before Olympia. So I wanted to see what happened this time if I dropped salt during the weekend. And when I dropped salt, it caused all sorts of issues. So my body actually just locked up. They said I had a mild rhabdomyolysis, and you know, I couldn't move my legs. So they went and they just pumped a whole bunch of, you know, fluids in me, and now, so I actually was discharged yesterday, and but today is day one. I just got done training and I feel good, and my weight's already back up. I'm still 4 pounds light, but I'll get the weight back up and hopefully rebound.
Jason, my advice to bodybuilders when they ask me about should they do this or do that or cut sodium or do this, I say don't do anything different than you've been doing if you look good. No kooky stuff. And I'm going to give you the same advice. No kooky stuff. You know, you probably looked amazing before you cut all that salt, and there was probably no reason to do that. So don't screw yourself up.
Exactly. I know. See, this year is a big deal. So you know, the goal is I want to be prepared for any type of error whatsoever. So even though this was an error and, you know, it almost really hurt me, I'm glad I did it instead of, you know, I learned basically with my body type, I don't need to drop any water. I don't need to drop any salt before stage, you know. So I'm glad that I learned this early. So now it's just about getting back on plan.
Good luck to you at the Olympia. I think you got a great shot. I think it's wide open this year. I think, you know, obviously there's some superstars coming into this lineup, but I think it's got to be between you, Siddiq, and Jeremy, that top three. I know you guys are going to battle it out, and I know you're going to give it your all, and we're rooting for you. Good luck in Las Vegas.
So, Dave, I've given you a back double bicep pretty much every year then, right?
Yes, pretty much.
All right, so let's do it.
All right.
I don't want to break tradition. Hold on a second.
I knew I could twist his arm into doing it.
No, Dave, you can't. You don't want to disappoint Dave. You know,
no,
he does so much for it.
It's the audience. You don't want to disappoint your fans. Here he goes, Jason Poston, 2 weeks out. Mr. Physique Olympia. I think he went to oil up. He went to do a little oil up in the bathroom there, so he can give us a good shot. Here he comes. I like his backdrop. You know, Chris Aceto has like one picture of himself on the wall. Jason's got the whole trophy case there. Oh, he looks great. Here we go.
All right, you see me?
We can see it. Hit that back double. There it is. I think if you guys are close at the Olympia, they should do the front and rear double bicep to determine the winner.
I think so too.
Right, Jason. Best of luck.
I'm pushing for a freestyle pose. You know, some type of you know signature pose. When it's a stalemate, and they don't know what to do. Just let us go crazy.
There you go. Pose down at the end, Jason. Best of luck with the last couple weeks prep. We'll see you in Vegas.